If you want to use Google Forms in order to capture your parent meeting data, you'll have to access Google Drive and then click New. It'll then bring up a little menu and you will scroll down to Google Forms at the bottom. This will then load a blank Google Forms page for you. So what I like to do before I input all my questions for the data I need to capture, I like to customize my page. So you can do this by clicking on the paint icon at the top, and this will bring up a menu on the right hand side, and then you can decide what types of fonts you'd like to use for your header, your question and your text. You can choose an image, so that is like a banner at the top of your page, and then you can also decide what colors you would like your font to be, as well as the background. Next, I like to edit my font a little bit. So I like to leave the question and the text as Roboto, but I like to make my heading slightly different. So I'm going to pick this one over here. And then because I've got a heading at the top of my page, I do not use this header as an actual heading. So I'm just going to write here meeting details. But if you do not have a banner or you don't have wording on your banner, you just have a picture, then you will obviously write the title of your parent form over here. If you would like parents to receive a copy of the details that they submit on this form, you need to click on Settings and then scroll down to Responses. Underneath you'll see a section that says Collect Email Addresses. Click the drop down menu and then click on Responder Input. Then underneath it says Send responders a copy of their response, and you will click Always. So this will then insert a section onto your form where parents have to put their email address, and then when they click submit at the end, it will send through all the details of the meeting. Then if you scroll down to presentation, there's a section that says after submission and confirmation message. Click edit and you can now write a little message that will pop up when your parents have clicked submit. Now we're going to start adding our questions to the form. So you're going to come here and click on the circle with the plus, and that is going to give us a question box. So the first detail that I want to capture on this form is the parent's name and surname. Right, and then just check on the right hand side that it says short answer, and then below the required button is on blue. This just means that every single parent that answers this form is required to submit this information. And then for other questions you can turn it off if it is an optional answer. Then I like to bold all my questions. Now the next question box is not compulsory, it is optional, but it's something I like to include, and it is a question that asks parents if there's anything in addition to academics that they wish to discuss in this meeting. The next question, we're going to add a section where parents can decide if they would like to meet in person or chat to you via a phone call, if this is something that your school allows. I know some schools also allow for Zoom meetings as well, which is particularly handy if maybe one parent lives in a different city or country, then you can organize to meet them via Zoom. So for this question, you will have multiple choice selected on the right hand side, and then you will type in your options. We are now going to add sections to our parent form based on what option the parent is going to choose over here. So you're going to come to the three dots at the bottom of this question block, and you're going to click on go to section based on answer. So depending on what they click, they will then be taken to another section. So we're going to set up those sections now. So we're going to start with the in-person. So I'm going to come here to this equal sign, and then you'll see it says section 2 of 2. So I will title this You are now going to have a section where you type in, please select a suitable time to meet, and then you have your options here. So I've made a few different options from 3:30 through to 5:15, and then make sure that you click the drop down option underneath the question type. The reason for this is we're going to code it now so that when a parent selects a time on your form, say 3:30, that the next parent who visits your form will not be able to access the 3:30 option. It will be removed from your form, so you will have no clashes. So what you're going to do is make sure it's on drop down, come up here to add-ons. Now you may not have this on your Google form. If you don't have it, you can just have a look for it under add-ons. I think it's under settings. You're going to click or look for choice eliminator. You can just install it. You click on that, click English, and you wait a little while until it loads. Then you're going to click configure, and it's going to load this little block over here, so you can exit there. So it takes a little while to load, and then over here it brings up all the options. So you are looking for the suitable time. So it's this one over here. And then you just make sure that this little checkbox is ticked for eliminate choices. And that's it. Right, so then you're going to do the exact same thing now for the phone call. Once your coding has been done, you are then going to come back up to your option page over here with meeting in person or via phone call, and you're going to click, and then where it says continue to next section, you're then going to make sure it says go to section 2, in-person meetings. Okay, so now we're going to move to our next section, which then you're going to scroll back up to your options, and you are going to make sure that this section goes to section 4. Then of course I'm not going to make use of this section. You're not going to go anywhere. You can just say submit form. A useful tool that you can include on your parent meeting form is an additional section that parents can go to in order to schedule appointments with other subject teachers. So in the description section, you will write the names of the different teachers, and you can also include the subject that they teach. So I'm going to give 2 examples just to show you. And then what you will do is you will highlight the teacher's name, click on this link icon, and then make sure you copy the link to Mrs. White's parent evening form, paste it over here, click OK, and it will turn blue to show that it has been hyperlinked to her parent evening form. So you're just going to go through all and just switch off the required for all the different sections that you do not need them to definitely fill in throughout. Okay, so I've turned it all off. The only one that you want the required section on is going to be the top section here. So the one with parent's name, learner's name, subject. This one we made optional, so it can be turned off, and then this one you do want them to also have on required. Alright, so what we will do now is we will click on these little arrows under every section. So if a parent is directed to the in-person meetings, when they're done choosing a time, you click on that little arrow and you just say submit form, so they don't have to then go through the rest of the form and scroll through the phone call and the rescheduling section. So you'll do the same for the phone call section, and then once again for the one at the bottom here. Because it's the last one, the submit button is going to be on this one anyway, so there's not a drop down arrow for that. If you want to practice completing the form yourself as well to test it out, you will come here to the link button. It says copy responder link, and then you will open it up on a new tab. When you do this, it will take you to the form as though you are a visitor, so a parent, and you can then test it out. Finally, once parents have filled in the forms and it is now past submission date, you can then have a look and see all your responses by coming back to the editor's mode of the parent meeting form, and you will click on responses. So it will give you a breakdown like this that you can have a look at. Kind of just puts everything into pie charts and tables, but you don't really need it like this to schedule your meetings and have it all on one page. You're going to come here to this section. It's a Google Sheet, so link to sheets. You can say create a new spreadsheet, and then it's going to take all the information and it's going to plonk it onto this sheet over here, and you will now have all of your meetings on a document like this.